Hello and welcome to game 2 of the day. It is Czech Republic A versus Canadian Hawks. You can see the Czech Republic team in their customary pre-match huddle. Czech Republic A winning their first match by 7 wickets. He's coming, he's coming. He's on his way. Czech Republic A are fielding first against Canadian Hawks. I'm Nishant Joshi. Thank you very much for joining us once again, and I'm joined for the second day by our young commentator who took the journalism broadcasting world by storm on his maiden outing on day 1 of Pepsi Cup Prague 2019 yesterday. It is the one, the only Moshi, Mr. Moshi. How do you do today?
Good. Looking forward to the game. I didn't see the first game, so I only saw Czech Republic 1. So I'm excited to see how they'll do with 1 win and 1 loss so far in the tournament.
Okay, so look where you're talking right now.
Yeah.
Your mouth is here, microphone is here. Microphone is going to pick up, ideally, from different microphones pick up different ranges sort of thing. So really, you want to make sure that your voice is consistent. Remember what we were talking about yesterday.
Yeah.
So however it is, you want to make sure that you're speaking the same volume for the whole day. And the only way to do that is maintain the same distance throughout the whole day, okay? Here we don't have any headphones or anything. Usually you have like some feedback or a producer telling you feedback and whatever. Most of our feedback will just be Chris and other people looking at streams and saying, I can hear you well, I can't hear you well. Yeah? So the only way to guarantee it is to speak into the microphone like this. So we'll keep it here like we did yesterday. When you want to speak, you just move your head here. That will be comfortable for you. Just move your head here and start talking into it. Sound good?
Yeah.
But just make sure you're here. Okay? So we want to get the scorecard. So let's get the scorecard. I think it's okay. We have Santosh as our tech troubleshooter. Right then, who's opening? It's just about to start now. So we are all set for the start of the game. It will be Honeygory opening the bowling. First ball just drifting onto the pads a little bit. Off the square leg for 1 leg by to start the innings. Mercifully, it's just started to warm up a little bit. Still very chilly in the shade, wouldn't you agree, Moshi?
Yes, definitely.
I know the first day of Pepsi Cup Prague 2019 was dominated by the weather. I know Moshi has a special interest in Prague's weather. What's the forecast looking like for today, Mr. Moshi?
Well, It's cold, still quite cold, but it's warming up. Sunny, and no clouds like to the end of the first day. So hopefully no rain and a good day of cricket.
We are bringing you this game live from the home of cricket in Central/Eastern Europe. It's Honey Gory coming into bowl again for Czech Republic A. He's a man of short stature, but he packs a punch. Just a gentle jog of a run-up, which doesn't appear terribly threatening, but is a very skiddy customer. And he started off well here. It's just on a good length, everything so far.
I interviewed him after the game against Mad Dogs, and he's hoping that Czech Republic can win this game and go as far in the tournament. He's quite optimistic about this game.
And that brings us to the end of the first over. Honey Gory's first over going for just 2 runs. Canadian Hawks 2 for none after 1. Who's bowling from that side, Terry?
Sudesh.
From the Chateau end, we have Sudesh Wickramasinghe, a stalwart of Czech cricket over the years, an indefatigable champion of Central/Eastern European cricket. A hard-hitting Sri Lankan batsman who bowls some nippy, medium to fast. He's been one of the most reliable cricketers for Czech Republic over the past few years. And it's fair to say he's hit hundreds of sixes, I'm sure, on this very ground over the years. He comes into bowl. And straight away, right on a good length, that 4th, 5th stump area, just hitting the shoulder of the bat. And going to Captain Chris Pearce at backwards point. So Moshi, just to update yourself and the viewers who weren't there for some of our first game, we are keeping an eye on Captain Chris Pearce's field settings. So that ball is just inside edged to the fine leg boundary for 4. So we are keeping a close eye on number 17, Chris Pearce, captain of Czech Republic A. And you see after every single ball, he is just motioning, gesturing. We saw one there, didn't we, Moshi? He's just waving his arms. He's the air traffic controller who's had a little bit too much caffeine. And a good, again, Sudesh just hitting the shoulder of the bat, then somewhat falling down, a bit like London Bridge there. Took him a while to get down, didn't it, Moshi?
Yeah, but stop the ball, and that's the most important. As the Canadian Hawks having trouble scoring runs.
Again, Sudesh hitting that length, a little bit fuller this time, but it's cut very serenely off the back foot into the covers. A lovely stop there, just cover point region. Really nicely timed by the batsman there. A very good stop to limit it to a single. Again, Sudesh hitting the shoulder of the batsman, trying to whip it to leg, but it comes onto him too quickly. And watching Chris Pearce again, yes, the air traffic controller comes out again. There are lots of planes overhead.
But so far, his fielding tactics have worked.
And this is a very tight over from Sudesh so far. And that's the end of the over, in fact. A probing over from Sudesh. Chris Pearce once again just telling everybody to get a hurry on.
As he's getting Honey onto bowl, his second over.
So as I was saying, we are keeping an eye on Captain Chris Pearce. He's just we're keeping an eye on the tally of field changes that he makes throughout the 20 overs. So far, we're at 7 after 2 overs, which is pretty impressive considering he sets the field to start off with. As that ball just keeping a little bit low, a little bit skiddy from Honey Gory there. Inside edge off the attempted pull. Good bit of running to pick up 2 runs through square leg. As we watch Chris Pearce again, yep, he's got the disco moves out now. Shake it to the right, shake it to the left. Panigori into bowl again, number 14 for the Czech Republic. An attempted cut shot there. And we see the ball has just kept a little bit low so far this morning. We've seen Mukesh, the opener for Czech Republic A, in the first game, get out to a ball which just kept low off that sort of length. It was our LBW to an attempted pull. The ball just has a tendency to keep low from this end. And the batsmen are much better advised to play straight back shots, just like that back foot punch there. But that goes for no run. Moshi, what do you rate the Canadian Hawks' chances in this game? They've got a bit of an uphill struggle, it feels.
Yeah, but I think if they start getting runs and the Czech field and bowlers might, the Czech fielders can't just calm down. They always have to be ready, and the Canadians definitely have to try to get runs.
And you heard it here first, some breaking news, which will possibly make seismic changes in the cricketing world. Yesterday, Steve Smith scored 211, and today Robert Mugabe has died. That's life, death, ashes, and cricket in the Pepsi Cup Prague 2019 for you. Moshi, I know you've been a keen follower of Zimbabwe politics for a while. What do you make of Robert Mugabe's passing today? Speechless, I understand. Canadian Hawks 9 for none after 3.
Rain delay at Old Trafford, so no excuses not to be watching this.
And as our producer Terry O'Connor says, there has been a rain delay at Old Trafford. Day 3 of the 4th Ashes test. So there is no excuse to not be tuning in to the only cricket game happening in Europe today. Oh, that is a nippy one from Sudesh. He's put his back into that. Canadian Hawks off to a very slow start, aren't they, Moshi?
Yeah, now they have 9 runs after 3 overs. That was an attempt to play a big shot, but failing to do so, and that is Sudesh balls are wide.
Yeah, Sudesh really tried to rough him up with that first ball, put his back into it, and it really climbed on the batsman, going nowhere with that ball. And he tried to sucker him in with that slow ball, second ball. He just pushed it far too wide. Reverse the type, and that looks very adjacent. An attempted sweep off a pretty straight-looking delivery there. What did you make of that shout, Moshi?
Well, why not appeal if you think that maybe, but now, catch! And the batsman is caught, trying to go for the boundary and fails to do so as he is caught.
Canadian Hawks 10 for 1. That ball was completely mistimed. Batsman looked a little all over the shop. To be completely fair to him, it was a very probing opening spell from Sudesh. Lots of pressure building up on the Canadian Hawks. Not going anywhere at all at the start of their innings. So the batsman just tried to play over the infield, only succeeded in mistimed chip. It seemed like it was going agonizingly left of mid-off. But appropriately, he swooped like a hawk and took a rather impressive looking diving catch to his left. Canadian Hawks 10 for 1 as we see Chris Pearce
once again giving out instructions. Another wide from Sudesh.
Rather smart take to his right from the keeper. And these Canadian batsmen just not able to pierce the infield. Only boundary so far coming from an inside edge. They've really struggled so far, haven't they, Moshi?
Yeah, and I was talking about Panthers yesterday as the ball's in the air. It isn't a boundary. I was talking about Panthers yesterday, how they didn't do well in their power play and didn't score runs. Well, Canadian Hawks even worse in this game.
Oh, and that's the nature of this field sometimes. You can't do much about that. Hammered straight to mid-off, but it took a nasty bounce. You don't want to get behind that one. It bounced way over his head. Like it took off like a trampoline there, didn't it, Moshi?
Yeah, and I think if the ball's coming to you here and you go on the floor like a long barrier and suddenly it can bounce up anywhere, it can be very hard to field here.
Canadian Hawks 16 for 1 after 4 overs. So Moshi, what I want you to do is make sure you keep an eye on the score towards the end of the over. Yeah? You can keep an eye on the scoreboard, you can press refresh as well. What we need to make sure is that we give regular score updates. So at least at the end of every over, we want to give a score update, okay? So all you have to say, Canadian Hawks 16 for 1 after 4 overs against Czech Republic game. Okay? So next over you'll do. See another big shot there. It didn't seem like it was timed cleanly off the bat, but the placement was good enough. Straight down the ground is always a safe place to hit. Couple of bounces and trickles for 4. Couple of welcome boundaries there for Canadian Hawks. And an instant reaction from Captain Chris Pearce. He's kept the long on in place.
And that one is bottom edged into the ground and well fielded, no one.
Notice that the long on field isn't quite back on the boundary. Early on in the power play, it seems like an odd position to be in. Particularly as his batsman is trying to slog through mid-wicket, but fielder does cover ground, he eats up the ground. Did remarkably well to even get close to that. Still the ball trickles for 4.
Yeah, good attempt in the field, but can't get there in the end.
Is that subtle? So a bit of welcome momentum for the Canadian Hawks here. In listening to you, Moshi.
As this isn't the first time they tried to go for a big shot and missed the ball.
And again, smashed straight past the bowler. That was as straight as you like. Wouldn't have mattered if Sabawoon at long on was right on the boundary there. Canadian Hawks finishing off this power play with a little bit of momentum in their favour now. Just eking it back in their favour. And this number 3, Kumar, now hit 3 boundaries after a very promising start. Notice that long on Sabawoon has just dropped back a little bit and just gone a little bit straighter. All eyes on Captain Chris Pearce. Honey Singh comes into bowl again. Another wild swing. Chris Pearce's arms in the air, wildly gesticulating. So now you know that was a dot ball, so you know it's going to take a while to update. So you know the score is 28 for 1 after 5. So even if you get it wrong by 1 run or 2,
After 5 overs, Canadian Hawks are 28 for 1.
Good morning, Moshi.
Good morning.
How are you enjoying this match so far? As I just replaced Nishant so we can get a little bit of sunshine.
Yeah, good game so far. Good bowling, good fielding, and the batsman in the last over or so started picking up the run rate, so it could be a very interesting game.
28 runs only on the board. We've only got 5 balls left of the power play. That's in the air. Surely this is not enough runs for a power play.
No, well, after a power play, you want to be on around 60, 70 ideally, and they're currently on 28, so...
Well short. As Sudesh comes in again from the Chateau end.
And that's a lovely shot that goes to 4.
It was very well picked up, indeed. Raced away to the boundary. It's the roadside boundary. You think that type of shot is something that's going to indicate more aggressive batting from Canada?
Well, They always, they now have a couple of boundaries. They get the occasional boundary, then a couple of dot balls, then maybe a single, and then a boundary again. So I think they need to be more consistent with the boundaries. There's another dot ball.
Indeed, Sudesh wrapping him on the pads there. It was well down the leg side. Not even a suggestion of an appeal from a single member of the Czech Republic A team. Oh, he's taken that! What a catch!
Lovely catch. That's brilliant. It was low down and he got to it perfectly. So another wicket goes for the Canadians.
The big man certainly made an impressive effort to get so low down to take that catch. Beautiful caught and bowled by Sudesh. So Canadian Hawks now 2 for 32.
So, one thing that I was thinking would be quite good, on WhatsApp I mentioned trying to create GIFs and things like that. I don't know if it's possible to create highlights directly from the YouTube video.
It is. Yeah. And you can do it on mine. So we're not having to worry about the space.
Because I think if it had an option there, like if you
And the batsman is just getting ready.
because if there's a really good piece of cricket and you get it on camera like that, then really great pictures.
Is that how to do it? I'm not sure. Oh no, that's just edits.
Well, I think if you there is a replay.
So we're running up for the next ball.
Let's
Very good.
anything you can do there, you can do
End
here.
of the over. Dot ball for.
So we don't actually
risk interfering with
As they are currently 32 for 2 after 6 overs. End of the power play, 32 runs. Not brilliant at all, but yesterday we did see a score of around 40 runs after the power play win the game. Will the Canadian Hawks be able to win with just above 30? As Honey is going to bowl his fourth and final over of the innings.
Yeah, but the other thing is that we'll have to do all there. You always should jump
As a single made for Canada, the batsman was kind of walking his way into the crease, but as the ball was in the air, he shoved it in. So, easy single for the Canadian Hawks.
Honey Gory will be continuing from the southern end. Prods that one away. Osher, it looks to me as though we've just got the one fielder outside the circle at a fine leg boundary.
Yeah. Oh well, I guess in the power play, having a lot of fielders in the circle worked for the Czech Republic, so maybe Chris wants to try out how it works out of the power play.
Yeah, he's certainly keeping a very tight field, restricting possibilities for Canadian Hawks to get any ones or twos. Oh, there's an edge. straight through the slip cordon, all the way to the boundary. Batsman finding one of the few gaps.
Yeah, I mean, wasn't a beautiful shot to watch, but as long as he got the runs, it worked.
He's on the field. He's on the field.
I will.
Yeah.
And Honey is running in. One run there, Canadian Hawks, as the only fielder outside of the circle, Sudesh stops that.
I believe the umpire signal a wide on that. They might have actually ended up with two. Here comes Honey again. Oh, he's got a little bit of lift out of the pitch that time. Batsman does very well to get on top of it and flick it to square. Brings up the end of the over. Moshe, how do you feel for the next few overs, doing a little bit of commentary in Czech for our listeners?
Yeah, okay.
Fantastic. So we'll operate for the next couple of overs, dual English and Czech commentary. Moshe providing the Czech. Otherwise, it would get a bit messy. Once again, it will be Sudesh from the Chateau end. See the beautiful Chateau Chetnica in the background, just over his right shoulder. Sudesh comes in. It's in the air, but there is no one there. It's racing away to the boundary, and that is 4.
Dobrý odpal. Odpalovač si odstoupil trošku dál od navhazovače a jen to nepotřeboval do toho dát moc síly, ťuknul to na standové top 4, jelikož tam nebyl i žádný hráč, aby to zastavil.
So Canadian Hawks move to 2 for 43. Sudesh comes in. Oh! Batsman hits it, but an inside edge that goes back onto his legs.
Odpalovač se snažil dát velkou ránu, ale jenom se to tečnul do vlastního chrániče a tým, který odpole, má 42 bodů a 2 hráči byli pryč. A teď je to jeden běh pro tým z Kanady. Míček spadnul pár metrů před hráčem v poli. Odpalovači na něčem domlouvají.
Yeah, a half chance there. Leading edge went to the covers, but just landing in front of Hilal Ahmed. In comes Sudesh. Shortish this time. Played and missed.
Opět zkusil odpalovač nějakou něco velkého, protože potřebují body a on to ví. Ale netrefil se do míčku a brankář v pohodě zachytil, takže žádný bod z tohoto nadhozu.
Oh, beautiful ball from Sudesh. He pulls out the Yorker, and what a way to pick up the wicket. Fantastic delivery.
Skvělý nadhoz od Sudeše a přímo trefil branku. Odpalovač tam tam máchal pálkou, ale neměl šanci se k tomu míčku dostat. Skvělý nadhoz. A další hráč odchází z hřiště pro tým Kanady.
That's 3 wickets now for Sudesh. He's causing lots of problems for the Canadian Hawks in this innings. Should have just the one more delivery to go in this over. So far, just the 4 runs and 1 wicket coming from it. Canadian Hawks are currently 3 for 43. One ball to go in the 8th over.
Chris is again changing the field. Opět skvělý nadhoz a odpalovač jenom bránil svoji branku na poslední míček tohoto, ale nechtěl ztratit žádný běh, takže momentálně 43 se ztrátou 3 odpalovačů, to je skoro týmu z Kanady.
So Moshe, with 43 runs only on the board after 8 overs, what type of total do you think the Canadian Hawks should be getting?
I think they'll try and definitely cut the one way to big, so I think 130 would be a good score for them from this position, definitely, but is it enough to win? Not quite sure.
We have a change of bowling from the southern end. Sabuin Davizi coming on, replacing Honeygory. Some more medium fast. Goes down the leg side, and that will be a wide.
Nadhoz byl moc široký, takže se bude opakovat a tým odpalovačů dostane bod navíc. A míč je ve vzduchu, ale není chycení a přehození, ale brankář si vyšel dost daleko od své normální pozice, aby zastavil Kanaďany v dalším běhu, takže 1 bod.
Is in the air there, but falling short of the fielder at mid-off, Smit Patel. In comes Sabuin. Slower delivery this time, outside off. Cut away to point. Manages to get through the fielders. Cover fielder actually comes around and collects it in the end, and they get 1 run.
Jeden běh z tohoto nadhozu a Kanaďané by opravdu potřebovali začít dostávat víc běhu. Názovet se rozebíhá. A míček je rovně dobře zastaveno hráčem v poli. Ten pak zkusil trefit přímo branky, což by znamenalo vyautování. Pálka se netrefil, se míček projel dál, ale jenom jeden běh. Jeden z odpalovačů Kanaďanů chtěl běžet, ale druhý jasně řekl ne.
It was certainly an excellent bit of fielding. The throw was good, but the batsman was back. Little inside edge there, goes to square leg, and the batsmen get 1 run.
jeden běh z tohoto manhozu a jak říkám, už skoro celý zápas Kanaďané potřebovali víc běhu. Protože takto to rozhodně nevypadá na výhru. A další široký míč.
Yeah, I think Sabuin's got to make an adjustment to his line here. He's straying down leg side a little bit too much. He has a 5-4 field. There are 5 fielders on the offside, 4 on leg. That's much straighter and hit straight back to Sabuin. Dot ball.
Žádný běh, odpolovač to trefil přímo zpátky k nadhazovači, který míček nepřímo zachytil, ale rozhodně hodně zbrzdil a tak si v pohodě ho vzal do rukou. Žádný běh, ale bylo to, že trošku ho z toho bolí ruka, což se nedivím. A teď jeden běh, hráč poli si vzal míček a zkusil hodit, ale vypadl mu z ruky, ale jeden běh, což není dost pro Kanaďany, který mají teď 49 bodů. Stále se ztrátou 3 odpolovačů.
So another over is completed, and again, not very many runs coming from it for Canadian Hawks. And I think your estimation of 130, 140 is starting to look a bit ambitious for this side, unless they can up this run rate.
Yeah, now I think they would definitely wouldn't be happy with 110, but from this position, 110 and even 100, would be the score they would have to be looking at, as they are failing to up the run rate.
And we're going to have another change in the bowling. Coming from the Chateau end now will be Naveed Khan. Naveed plays for Brno Cricket Club. He is an off spinner, but he's a real skiddy off spinner. He darts the ball in. Often be very tricky for batsmen, especially if they're not ready for how quickly it can come onto them. See if he causes any difficulties for the batsman. After I big up how skiddy and darty he often bowls, that was a very leisurely thrown up ball. Nothing like the description I said. That's in the air, and that's a catch. Fantastic effort by Sabuin.
Tak z toho prvního míčku tohoto over to odpolovač jim nechal a nebyl žádný běh, ale z druhého to odpolovač horní částí pálky vypíchl do vzduchu a chycení, a je to už několikáté dobré chycení v poli od českých hráčů v tomto zápase. Zatím vlastně pokaždé, když byl hráč chycen, což bylo 3krát, tak to bylo velmi dobré chycení a těžké. To je pozitivní.
It was a fantastic catch by Sabuin in the fly slip position, or a very short third man, but I'm going to give it a fly slip. A very excellent position to have with an off spinner bowling, and we've seen exactly why with that delivery. Ball just flying off the edge because Sabuin was just inside the circle, and he flung up his right hand and took it one-handed well above the head. Naveed comes in again, pushed to the onside through mid-wicket, and the batsmen get a single.
Jeden běh z tohoto nadhozu, přehození míče, fantastický, tak se nazval zachytit, ale Kanaďané z toho nedostanou běh. Odpalovač se ještě upravuje svoji pozici před brankami. A dobrý nadhoz a jenom obrana rána, takže žádný běh.
It's in the air again, but this is way over the head of Hilal Ahmad, and that's a 6. Much needed boundary for Canadian Hawks.
6 pro Kanaďany. První pro ně v tomto zápase a jestli chtějí mít vůbec šanci na výhru, tak musí takovéto rány ještě několikrát opakovat. Taková malá teď ke straně. Odpalovač doufal, že to bude aspoň jeden běh, ale není, takže konec tohoto over.
So 10 overs gone, halfway through the Canadian Hawks innings. They've lost 4 wickets. Three of those to the bowling of Sudesh Wickramasinghe, and the last of the 4 wickets falling to Naveed Khan. Canadian Hawks find themselves 4 for 56. Certainly would be wanting to more than double that score as Sabuun continues, pushed to the covers for no run.
Takže v polovině kanadské směny mají Kanaďané 56 bodů, což není ideální a teď z tohoto odpolu nedostali žádný.
Batsmen take a single this time, pushed to the mid-off fielder just wide enough that they can get the single with ease.
Odpalovač odpálil do trochu podobného místa, ale tentokrát to projelo mezi hráči v poli jeden běh a teď to není 4, skvěle zastaveno hráčem v poli a to vlastně ukazují Češi celý tento zápas období v poli jsou.
It's a great bit of fielding on the boundary. Smit Patel and Chris Pearce combining to stop the boundary and get the ball back in quickly. Big swing, but the batsman's not able to get hold of it. Collected easily at mid-wicket. Here comes Sabuun. Short, wide, and called so by the umpire.
Tento míček byl široký, ale ten míček předtím to brankář zase chtěl odkládat nějakou 4 nebo 6, což se chápe, ale spodní částí pálky to trefil a to není ideální, ale teď je míček ve vzduchu a je to další chycení. Takže 5. odpalovač Kanady odchází z hřiště a teď jestli vůbec Kanada dohraje všech 20 overs.
Good catch by Honey Gory there. The ball went quite high. He took it just inside the 30-meter circle. So after taking a catch previously off the bowling of Naveed Khan, Sabuun Davizi now has a wicket of his own, and that's 5 down for the Canadian Hawks. Making their prospects of getting to 3 figures looking more and more difficult. Sabuin's last ball of his over.
Dobrý nadhoře. Pálkař tam tak nastavil pálku, ale naštěstí pro něj to netečnul. Jinak by jako jeho spoluhráč před chvílí také odcházel z hřiště.
We've lost the sun here at Vinoř. There isn't any real cloud above the Chateau field, but as the sun is behind us, cloud is obstructing it, and when there's no direct sunlight, it gets a little chilly here. So Navid will continue from the Chateau end.
Dobrý odpal spalovače, ale opět velmi dobré zastavení míčku od hráče v poli.
When the ball goes out of the video, that's the bit that's most important for us to get. Flicked away to square leg, and Chris Pearce fielding there is sharply onto the ball and ensuring that the batsman cannot think about a run.
Score is currently 62 to 5 for the Canadian Hawks.
Oi! Oi!
We've just seen a dropped catch over on the Banks field by one of the Awali fielders. He made a fantastic effort, took it on the dive going forward, but it's just popped out of his hands as he's made impact with the ground.
Did all the hard work.
Indeed, everything right up until that final moment. Here comes Navid Khan, prods away, and that will be a dot ball.
Summarize the over, then you can.
That's coming straight through.
Konec.
You want to have a break?
I don't know. Okay.
Mina. So when bowls straight back past him, scamper through for a single. Throw was not that good. Joined now in the commentary by one of our other members of the commentary team and one of our on-field doctors. Have you been busy with the doctoring today, Nina?
Yes, Jerry. We've had a few injuries today, actually. Mainly catching injuries. I think it was quite cold this morning. A lot of players in the field had cut their fingers or injured their fingers as they were trying to catch the ball, and a lot of plastering and a lot of bandages going around. But I think now that the weather has settled, everyone's nice and warm. I think that was the main mistake people made this morning, actually. They underestimated the cold weather and forgot to warm up. Oh, it's a good jump there by Honey from the Czech team.
Yeah, I think if almost any other member of the Czech team had been in that position, they would have taken that catch, as they've all pretty much got a few inches on Honey. But he leapt off the ground, ball just going to his right and racing to the boundary for a 4.
Ooh, and that's a close one there, Terry.
Played and missed. The Czech team all appealing for a caught behind. Didn't look to me as though the batsman actually got near it. But they are all super keen and looking for any opportunity to send another Canadian Hawk back to the pavilion. They've only got 5 more wickets to get. Sabun comes in here in the 13th over.
Wow, that's a nice shot down the boundary for a 4.
A little straighter this time from the batsman, going straight over Honeygory's head. Way too high for him to get anywhere near. And as a result, he's been pushed back a bit further. As Chris Pearce makes yet another alteration to the field. Here comes Sabun. Much fuller this time.
So Terry, this is game 2 for the Czech team, and they're looking to win this one as well to get through to the semi-finals. What do you think of the form of the Czech team, considering that you do spend a lot of time with these guys and watch them play? How do you think they're doing?
Well, yeah, it's their second game today after winning the first one. They lost a match yesterday. They have to win this to get into the upper semi-final. They're looking in very good form. This is a Czech Republic A side rather than a full national side, but there are a lot of national team players out there, such as Navid, who comes in to bowl. The batsman's not able to get hold of that. I will back them to win this match. I think they're looking in a really good position. They've got a lot of batting, and I think they'll be confident with the way this game's going so far.
Yeah, I agree. I think even 2 years ago when I was here in the Pepsi Cup, I can see a lot of improvement and a lot more team morale, I could say, for these guys. Oh, that was a drop catch. And he punishes himself for some push-ups on the field.
Yes, that was a very deserved punishment. Sabun just a little bit too casual in trying to take a one-handed catch to his right. Here comes Navid again, shorter this time. Picked up in the covers. Sabun had taken a catch in a similar position off the bowling of Navid previously.
It's a nice shot down straight into the boundary for a 4.
Batsman just getting that one past the mid-wicket, going to the very long mid-on boundary. Chris Pearce making a number of more altercations to the field. We've lost count, ladies and gentlemen. We couldn't keep up with him. Straight to point this time. Fields very quickly, gets the throw in very quickly, and sends the Canadian Hawks back, scurrying to their creases to complete the over.
So the score at the moment is 76 for 5 after 14 overs. We have another 6 overs to go of this innings. Let's see what the Canadians can do. See if they can pass the 100 mark quite soon, hopefully, and give the Czech guys something to chase in the next innings.
Yes, we saw the Czechs chase down 111 quite easily in the previous match. So if Canadians can't get anything past that, you would think that they will have a lot of trouble defending it.
Yeah, I think the Czech guys are very determined to get into the semi-finals now. You can see the team morale on the field and off as well. They're very focused. I guess that's the advantage of playing at home, Terry. Gives you a bit more motivation to.
True. Sometimes also there's extra pressure by being the home team. But you've got to find that balance between the two. You're on your home territory. Sabourin Davisi comes in. Very slow, loopy ball.
Oh!
And the batsman does not pick it properly and hits it straight to Smith Patel at mid-off for a simple catch. What did you think of that ball?
I'd rather not comment on it live on YouTube, to be honest.
Yeah, I was gonna say.
I have no
Did you
concerns
teach him that, Jackie?
in that regard, Mina, and I will say that that ball should never get a wicket. It did not deserve a wicket at all.
Well, you can see that the Czech players took their time to celebrate that wicket. Let's just say.
They're almost embarrassed. But it is a truism in cricket that fruit gets wickets. Poor balls will often get you a result. The batsman was almost a little dumbfounded by how poor that ball was. Much better delivery from Sabourin this time, blocked out by the batsman. He's being a bit more cautious with such a delivery.
Yeah, I think that was a bit of a wake-up call for him. Bowled a lot faster in the second ball now. And is that another catch by the captain himself? And that is. Chris Pearce himself catches the ball and they get another wicket. So we're now at 76 for 8 at the moment.
7, 8, 7.
Sorry, 76 for 7 at the moment. Canadian Hawks are struggling on the field today. As Terry said, the Czech team won't have any problem in chasing anything that's just above 100.
Now I think it's more of a question of will the Canadians get to 3 figures? Have they got 24 more runs in them? With the number of wickets in hand decreasing rapidly.
That's 2 wickets this over. Let's see what a bowler can bring in the next couple of balls. I think we'll say 1 wicket. I don't think we can really count that first wicket, can we, Terry?
It's in the scorebook. It gets counted. How much Sabourin deserved it is the question. But 1 more ball remaining in this over, the 15th from Sabourin. 7 for 76 is the score. Canadians need to get runs, but they need to stop putting the ball in the air.
That's the over. So we are on over number 16 now. 4 overs to go. Let's see if the Canadians can hit the 100 mark. Sorry, that's 5 overs to go for the Canadian Hawks.
I will leave you now, Mina, and I'll be replaced by Nishant in a moment. So we'll have commentary for you by double doctors.
Well, Nishant's just coming back from the other field where he's been watching Awali and Winterthur. He dances his way along into the commentary box. Not sure what he's dancing about. Do you have a big event coming up in the next couple
What's
of
there not
weeks?
to dance about? This is the biggest event of my life. The Pepsi Cup Prague 2019, the event of September 2019, the only event worth talking about in September 2019.
Ooh.
Canadian Hawks 76 for 7 after 15 overs. As we see a huge log just chipping over deep square leg. Sixes at both grounds at the same time. That's a rare sight, isn't it? Simultaneous sixes. I don't think I've seen that before, Mino, have you? She's speechless. And that looks as plumb as you can get.
Wow.
Full toss. Straight on middle stump. And I think the umpire had given that out and raised his finger before the ball had even passed the halfway point of the pitch. Canadian Hawks now 80 for 7 in the 16th over. As we see Mr. Sotvir Singh, number 13, walking out like this is a sequel of Lagan. They'll have to pull off something special if Canadian Hawks are getting back into this. Mina, what do you think of Canadian Hawks' performance so far?
I think they've had it.
She's speechless. And that's a nice shot, just backing away from Sotvir Singh. As Canadian Hawks finish the over on 81 for 8 after 16 overs, I beg your pardon. Mina, what do you think is a good total on this pitch?
I think
She's speechless.
so we're 81 for 8 at the moment after 16 overs. Got 4 overs to go. And Satvir is facing the first ball. Of the over from Navid.
Fun and games at the Pepsi Cup Prague 2019 as Chateau has a swing and a miss. We're just about at the halfway point in the day, which means one thing only.
Uh-oh. That could have been a catch there.
That could have been a catch there, Meenal. Very good. Well pointed out astutely. That could have been a catch. And if my auntie had been an uncle, she'd have been called Bob. Same again, next ball, remarkably. Caught at a very, very fine third man. The ball before just bouncing a few steps in front of third man. This one carries all the way, and Canadian Hawks are now 9 down. So when you're talking to the microphone, just make sure you're not talking like that, because Terry said before the volumes have been very variable, yeah? So make sure you're either leaving it on the table and coming this far, or bringing it up to you and going like this. Also, another thing is for mic technique, just here may not make such a difference, but once you get professional, you want to make sure that you're using your whole diaphragm, because that means that you can modulate your volume and your voice and bring out different tones as well. So Mino, Canadian Hawks are 9 down.
I just hope they actually get to the 100 mark. They have travelled a very long way, so let's hope they can get to 3 figures before the innings is over.
There are a lot of bees hanging around the tent today, so if you do hear any odd noises, it could be that, just be that we're being tickled by the odd bee. If you hear something going buzz, buzz, buzz in the air. As we see a very ambitious leave there from the Canadian number 11. So there are only 2 types of leaves, good leaves and bad leaves. And I suppose that has to go into a category of good leaf. Quite lots of spiders here. It's like a mini insectatorium. What's the right word for that? An insectatorium? You know what I mean by that. Everybody knows what I mean by that, so why isn't that a word? Like
It should be
insectatorium.
insectorium.
Because insects are such a wide grouping that none that have any similarity in the type of place that they live in. You can't contain them all in the same type of place.
Except in this Pepsi tent.
We have created something unique.
Do you want to have this one? That's the right score.
So the score is 83.
Let me check this one first.
So the score is 83 for 9 after 17 overs. We have 3 overs to go, and the Czech team just have 1 wicket to end the over inning. So that was a close one there. Was that a good leave or a bad leave? Or was that even a leave?
When you whisper, try and make sure that. Yeah, but it still picks it up. Looks like the Canadian number 11 has come here to block out the remainder of the 20 overs, and Captain Chris of the Czech Republic national a second 11 team has brought the field in, umbrella field in, and that's another leave. We like to see a leave in T20. We like to see him leave a leave in T20. I just hope, for the batsman's sake, that he doesn't leave a ball that just nips in a little bit and clips the top of off. That would be a shame. But he's right well behind that. As we see a catch taken on the other field, right in front of the commentary box. A brilliant catch taken on the Banks field from Vaibhav, number 9, who's been one of the better fielders in the tournament so far. He's certainly a contender for the All-Star team just for his fielding. Score. What's the score?
So we are 84 for. So we are 84 for 9 after 18 overs. We have 2 overs to go, and Satvir tries to give that a swing.
Did you hear that? And Chris Pierce there, the air traffic controller / captain of the Czech Republic National A third 11, directing traffic there, then going flying himself to save a couple of runs there, well fielded. As we see another leave from the number 11 Canadian batsman. You may be able to hear a bit of an atmosphere building. We have a full house here in Vinoř. As we see, yes, you guessed it, another good lead from the number 11 from Canada, Mehta. And Chris directs traffic once again, making his, what number count? Okay. So this is an umbrella field in the 19th over T20 game. I'm not sure I've ever seen anything like this before. Have you, Minal?
I haven't, not in T20. It's an interesting strategy that Chris has. I think he's really determined to finish the innings now, isn't he?
Why don't you commentate that? Why don't you just say that? Of course, you can say whatever you like. What's the score now? This is what you have to do. At the end of each over, you have to anticipate the score. So after ball 4 on 5, you should know what the score is, okay?
So we're coming into the last over now, and it's 85 for 9. As Satvir goes for another hit, and that could have been a catch. But I think the Czech team have become a bit complacent now. It's the last over.
Interesting comment then, Mina. Why do you think the Czech team have become a bit complacent? Do you think they've been a bit complacent? What evidence do you have for that? It's a bit harsh comment. The Canadian Hawks are 85 for 9. If anything, I would have thought the Czech Republic team have been a little bit too ruthless. And the Czech Republic team complacently clean up the tail within the 20 overs. What's the final score?
So the final score now is 85 runs for the Canadian Hawks as they finish their innings and get ready to go back on the field and bowl. The Czech team have a low score to chase now, the next innings.
Math? Sure. Okay, do you guys want to do an interview with the Canada team, please?
I don't think that one would want to be interviewed right now.
Join us again in 10 minutes or so for the resumption of this game. Czech Republic A chase down 86. You don't want to miss this. Right. Moshi, Minol, do you want to do a quick interview with one of the Canadian team, please?
Do you think they want to be interviewed now?
Yeah, we should do. Chris said that we should do as many of them as possible.
Okay. Is this in charge now?
And it's only like 10, 20 seconds. Well, 20
Well,
seconds.
it's 33.
Just like, how do you feel after that innings? What was the conditions like? You know, to put them on the spot.
Yeah, we're not like why were you so shit? We're not like why did you swing and miss so many times?
Well, interview extraordinaire. He's got respect for the place.
No, he doesn't. Moshi's like a savage. He just comes in and he's like, mate, number 3 got like 19 or 15, and everybody else just let the team down.
And I was thinking for the second innings, if Moshe and I just swap places, this way we mix up the pairs. And then, so you two can have time together. So Nishat and I will kick things off.
Okay.
Winterfell don't look like they're having a very good day.
What, the Canada team?
No, Winterfell.
Oh, yeah, they're a bit.
They got,
Yesterday they were really good.
yeah, and against the team that they were most worried about in their group. And then
They scored like 260 yesterday, didn't
yeah, 269, and then they got bowled out.
Probably quite nice.
You're right, guys. All good.
Yeah, man.
So far, so good, mate. So far, so good.
All good to hear.
I think these guys are gonna. Have you done an interview with these guys?
I've sent Sabah
Okay.
over.
Did you stop it?
Stop what? The stream.
I'll leave that over to you guys.
Because I thought we're not stopping the stream. 'Cause it
Oh
was-
no.
Yeah.
Sorry.
That's where we got problems.
It is now really clear why you were looking at me like, why would I do that? Well, it's the end of the game. We don't need to keep going.
Well, I suppose the good thing with the big fights is that the game's been so short, we'll probably stay longer here. So actually keeping it on these dead spots.
I know it's the middle of the day on a weekday, but I really thought there would have been more people watching that match.
Probably everybody who's watching at home yesterday's at the ground now. Moshi, you can do an interview with Summer Woon, they said, is it? They said you can do an interview with Summer Woon.
Alright,
So we're gonna have to charge it. I think we'll just interview the Czech team right at the end because I don't think it's gonna take them very long to get 86 runs anyway. So,
Probably not.
do you think that's fair?
Yeah.
Yes. Is that charging machine?
Yeah.
It is, right?
Don't worry, Moshi.
Jesus Maria. You do the cooking there, not here and then take it.
Majang, you're official now. What are you having? Non-alcohol. Non-alcoholic, yeah? That's right. My dad will be here in about half an hour. Shall I transfer you automatically one Pepsi Light over the table? So one bundle Pepsi and one light. And one cup. I want the Pepsi by half an hour. So might be. Well, sometimes. It would be better than the by chasing whoever. Faster. So maximum 5 hours. Otherwise, you cannot.
Walk in front of the camera, please.
Because we need it for this one quite soon. Because we're doing recording for this one. This one has not much left. Yeah. It's plugged in. Sure. Let me see. Is it working? Let me see. Yeah, it's charging this one. Maybe it's just your phone is not working.
Thank
you. No problem. If you, I mean, this is the only iPhone cable we have, unfortunately.
Okay, the results of other so far.
No.
It's like the rough win loss, not at the net run rate level, but
I think the only thing is to find it on the app. I can't even get it on the website.
oh really?
I can't find. These guys are the best gentlemen to help you out with the.
I had a quick question. In where we have finished at number 4.
Yeah.
Do you wanted to know what is Group B person looking like?
Oh, then.
Who are the bottom 2 teams in the section where we will be facing off tomorrow?
52? Probably they will fit.
Aberdeen, Panthers. Okay, thank you.
Yeah, I don't know. It doesn't say. Somebody on the line phone.
Okay. Boss, we can.
Are you going to be able to publish that via email or just have to look it up on the
Yeah.
app?
So for now, if you want it now, then I
What's
think
the
you
app?
have to look at the app. So it's called European Cricket Network.
Okay.
And then what's usually done is after day 2, which is when we have all of this, like the results and everything. Everything's posted on. Yeah. Everything's posted on Facebook. So then everybody knows who they're playing tonight. Tonight is when everybody is. Because during the day today, you usually have incorrect information for quite a while.
Yes.
And then when we go home, all the officials just double check everything.
The online result from there,
Yeah.
from the first innings,
Yeah.
would be wrong by 6 penalty runs, but he closed the innings before he knew there were penalty runs to be added. There were 6 penalty runs added for slow overload. Yeah, we're harsh.
Was it 90 minutes?
Sorry?
Is it 90 minutes?
No, 80.
Oh,
80 minutes. And I have 5 minutes added for balls, searches, and one batsman messing around, getting gloves changed and back changed.
that was quite funny. He went probably as high as I've ever seen a bat go.
Which one should I follow? Or,
Czech Cricket.
Czech Cricket?
Yeah.
That's live.
Yeah, it's raining in Old Trafford. I think today's going to be rained out completely. We should get ready for commentary here.
I want the whole
It should show up there, but
test rained out.
there have been lots of problems with that. Lots of problems with scoring. Unfortunately, it's not us actually. It's the app itself. It's been very buggy, unfortunately. But tonight, definitely, it's usually going to be posted on Facebook. Okay, then the full itinerary from tomorrow.
Okay.
Will be posted.
because I don't see
Is
the
the
competition.
is it even going?
What? Who's been touching this?
Okay, we'll catch up after the game.
Yes,
then.
yes. I'll let you.
What's that?
Well, there was something that was on the screen. It shouldn't be on the screen. It was trying to download photos.
Thanks for joining us again for this chase. Czech Republic A team are chasing Canadian Hawks total of 86. Canadian Hawks failing to set the tournament alight so far on their debut in Central Eastern Europe. Who's opening? Is it Saba?
Can't
Yeah.
see him through the umpire.
And we have Saba Woon, the left-hander, opening the batting, taking strike. Panigori at the other end. Spin to start off with. And Saba Woon with a rare tap back
It's not that uncommon to see Sabourin play such a shot in the first delivery of an innings. It will be shocking if he does so again. Sabourin provides no shocks, lofting the ball square, one bounce and 4. Very typical. I believe Nisha, you'd agree that's one of his favourite shots.
That's a favourite shot of Sabourin's. I think he also likes to play the reverse sweep, although not very well. Sabourin does seem to be a bit of a one-dimensional player, which isn't terrible in the first 6 overs of a T20 game where the field is very restricted. Seems like Canadian Hawks are well onto this though, with 2 fielders on the leg side boundary for him.
I think Sabourin may have taken umbrage at your disparaging remark about him being one-dimensional and pushed a lovely little single to rotate the strike. Put Honeygory. He prods just to the onside. How much of a chance do you give Canadian Hawks of being able to defend this total?
None whatsoever, Terry.
Fair enough. Honey goes big, goes high, and there is the first 6 of the Czech innings. Straight over his teammates sitting just over the boundary. Not one of them moved. They all knew they were safe.
Did mention in the first game of the day, Honeygory was just suffering from a slight arm injury. It seemed like it was holding him back just a little bit. Relatively tentative in his first innings. But now we see that he's had 1 sighter. Now his second ball flown for 6. They're pushing the field back. A wide long in place. I don't think that's going to deter Honeygory from having another go this time, and it doesn't. This time much straighter, straight as a die. And that's 4 to Honeygory. I think this game could be over very, very quickly. 15 runs off the first over.
Indeed. If we cast our minds back to the first innings, Canadian Hawks, it took them until I believe the 6th over to get to double figures. And here we find Czechs 15 off the first over. It's probably more of a question of how many overs will it take them to get the total. I'm thinking 6th, just into the 6th. Maybe they can do it in 5. Yourself?
I'm thinking in the 5th over, these should be chased down. I think Honeygory is going to get one of the fastest 50s ever seen in the history of cricket. He's already on 10 runs off 3 balls.
Indeed. If Canadian Hawks are unable to remove either of these batsmen in the first 3 or 4 overs, I would even think it could be possible for them to do it in only 4 overs. Both are big hitters. And both will be looking to try to smash as many boundaries as possible. You see, about to have the second over. Bowling from the Chateau end should be Canadian Hawks number 11 batsman, who showed some exquisite test match batting at the end of their innings. Were you impressed with his leaves and blocks?
Well, I certainly wasn't impressed with that delivery, and neither was Sabourin, as that's dispatched to the square leg boundary.
Boundary starting to come thick and fast. And The umpire's just double checking the number of fielders outside the circle. Umpire is changing the signal back to a 4. Bowler comes in again. Sabwin looked like he was in two minds with that delivery. He wanted to play it on the full, but then chose to try to go for a prod. Much more aggressive this time. One bounce, 4. As it's only going to last 5 or 6, I'm going to jump out.
Okay.
And let Moshe come in.
Okay.
So, Moshe, I'll jump out at the end of this over and come in because it's not going to be long enough for us to do a full rotation.
And here comes Honeygory. I think he might well fancy this.
Yeah, the field is switching around to protect or make some attempt at protecting cow corner. Of course, with the restriction, I'm only allowed to have 2 out. I'm sure that if this was outside of the power play, they'd want to put 3 or 4 men down there. Very loopy. Honey doesn't quite meet it. Over the 30-yard circle. 2 fielders playing around with it. One decides to field it and bowl it in. 2 runs. Sorry. Just 1 run. 2 Honey.
Terry, is there any way to check the? Is there any way to check the tables?
Yes.
Because the captain just round there was right to it. Just that guy though.
That's the sample before this match. The top 4 teams are going through to the upper semi-finals, even though there's 6 views there. That's many as possible, but
Okay.
It is that link is in the comment of this stream because the commands. I told you yesterday that the results of that and they're just not working. I don't know why.
What's she doing?
After 2 overs, Czech Republic A are on 25 runs. Which is much better compared to the Canadian Hawks score after 2 overs.
Satvir comes on to bowl to Honeygory. Not to mid-wicket, and Sabawoon wanders down the pitch, begs Honeygory for a single, pleads with him, almost shakes hands with him, and does the deal asking him to take a single. But he is not moved.
Honey obviously looking for the
That is gone
boundary.
straight up in the air. Long on was not watching the ball, and there's nearly a collision on the second bounce. There are a few double teapots around the Canadian team. Long on did not pick that up at all. Just bounced inside of the 30-yard circle. And it ended up landing in the Bermuda Triangle, right in the middle of nowhere.
And not the best of communication in the Canadian field. There's two players, as you said. Well, they did meet, but it didn't end up being anything painful.
One day we will find out why there are so many flies here now. I just cannot understand.
And today we don't even have food here. Like,
But I just don't understand. The flies don't even go to the food here. They just like why? Why are they're just hanging out? And it's like every year, it's just underneath the tents. It's just really weird. Why aren't they around it? Surely it would make sense. It would make sense if the flies were around the bin, right?
huge appeals there from the Canadians, especially the bowler, but umpire says no. So Honey will continue in this innings, at least for now. Full toss, and Honey absolutely smashes it for 6. Nothing, I don't really know what the ball was expecting from that ball. As Czech Republic A are now 33, but without a loss of a batsman after 2.5 overs. Two bounces and a 4, so at the end of the third over, Czech Republic A are 37 for none, 10 runs of these last 2 balls for Honey. As he is now on 22 runs off 8 deliveries, 2 4s and 2 6s.
I have to say, it's disappointingly slow from Honey Gory. I was saying he was a contender to hit the fastest 50 of all time in this innings. I think it's just a little bit late on that. Could still, there's just about enough runs in play to reach a milestone. They'll need Sabarun to take a single early in the over.
Yeah, I think that might have been the reason why Honey didn't want to run. Maybe he wanted to stay on strike and get the boundary, because there was a run in there.
Now watch Sabarun. He's going to walk across his stumps. I can assure you of that. And that ball just trickling towards the boundary. And just holds up in the outfield and goes for a couple of byes. We don't like byes in this because it means that the batsmen miss out on the chance for a milestone. And we are here for the milestones. We're here for the fastest 50s, the fastest 100s. Once again, Sabarun steps right across his stumps. Then surprisingly rather, decides it's not in his zone. Just taps it for a dot.
Yeah, but again with that bye, the ball, just like yesterday towards the evening, the ball slowing down towards the boundary, as that shot is also stopped near the boundary.
Another dot ball just respectfully patted back to the bowler. Sabarun perhaps looking to get his eye well in for future matches here.
A little tap onto the offside for a single. So Honey Goal, where we would like to see get the fastest 50 back on strike.
And that's one of the shots of the tournament so far. Umpire's only given a 4 for that. It looked
It looked like a 6 to me.
looked like a 6 to me as well, Moshi. That looked like a very handy and comfortable 6. The umpire has decided to take some mercy on the Canadian bowler's figures.
Zoom the camera.
Yeah.
Try to zoom the camera.
That's Chris's phone.
Renata. Chris.
Chris over.
Chris.
Where did Chris go?
He is
He's
there.
just sitting down there.
Illy!
You take him his phone. Just take him his phone.
Can I give?
Yeah.
You want? You're
Slight break in play as there is a lost ball. Dare I say it? If anything, that probably just justifies the fact that the ball cleared the boundary quite comfortably.
As the search for the ball that is lost after a shot that was a 4 but looked like a 6.
The fact that the ball is now lost probably proves our point that it was a 6. 4s tend not to get lost.
Could be quick 4. Fast bounce. Fast unbounce 4.
Yeah.
As at the end of the 4th over, Czech Republic are 46 for none, getting 9 runs off that 4th over.
This has been a relatively pedestrian effort from Czech Republic A. We were hoping for a few more fireworks from this. Having said that, they're still going at nearly 12s. And it would be exactly 12s if the umpire had spotted that ball going for a 6. We see Sabarun on strike. And it's a wide full toss that requires very little effort to hit it to the shortest part of the boundary, and it's just tapped nonchalantly for one of the simplest balls of the day. There's no fielder there.
And he just kind of put his bat out, and all he needed really was to touch that ball, and it was pretty much obvious that he was going for 4.
And Sabarun now batting halfway down the pitch. What on earth is happening here? as he just chops down on it, inside edges it. Right result. Probably a moral victory for the bowler, but that's one of the odder pieces of play I've seen in this year's Pepsi Cup Prague.
So now Czech Republic 54 for none, and it would be some brilliant bowling for Canada to win now, as it has gone for 4, but the fielder did get a hand to it, but it just pushed it higher into the air.
Well, the previous ball we'd seen Sabaroon not charge down the pitch, but just march down the pitch, and he made it into about a 16-yard pitch, and this time he made it into about a 25-yard pitch, batting very deep in his crease, and this time he's got the power behind it.
As that is his 4th 4 in a row. Some brilliant batting. The Czech team should really finish this off, and should really finish this off inside the power play. What do you think?
There's just about enough time. I'll give you that. Just about enough time. I think Sabaroon is really riding his luck here. But with only 2 fielders outside, he has a license to really go for it. And you cannot bowl there. The bowler and the captain had a long conference just before that delivery. And I'm sure the captain didn't tell his bowler to bowl a wide full toss to the vacant third man region. That's another boundary for Sabaroon. That's the 5th boundary in a row.
Once again, it's, as you said, a bit wide, so he just only needed that to touch it with his bat, and it would go for 4.
Can he make it 6 in a row?
And once again, Honey says no to the run.
You can't make it 6 in a row, but 5 4s in the over make it 20 runs for Sabaroon.
Very.
Czech Republic are 66 for none after 5 overs. They need 20 more to win another over like that, and we'll be done by the end of the power play, as you had predicted.
Well, your original prediction was in the 5th over, I think, to win. Not quite, but 20 runs needed. So 5 4s, as you said. But I think that Honey will want to hit more 6s than 4s if he can.
And that's the last thing you need, and I feel like there's just a bit of sense of resignation in that chase to the boundary. It seemed like the Canadian fielder was just willing that to reach the boundary. They want the pain to end. As we're joined by the air traffic controller himself, the Czech Republic A team, Captain Chris Pearce. Hanigori smashes that to mid-off, and it's very well fielded.
Just because he pulled his phone out.
Sir, I need to put this for charging somewhere. Can you help me?
Maybe there is one free port.
Will this fit or need to put
Yes.
the socket?
This one.
This will fit?
Yeah. No problem. Hi, boss. How are you doing?
Bye. Oh. How's it going? I'm Tarun.
That's another boundary to Hanigori as Czech Republic A national second 11 team, captained by the air traffic controller himself, Chris Pearce.
Hello. How's it going?
Seem like they're about to creep to an inevitable victory as Hanigori once again smashes it over the vacant mid-wicket region for a huge 6 to the long boundary. Chris Pearce, if there was one factor in Czech Republic's win, I know you haven't quite crept over the finishing line just yet, but it seems like we're just seconds away from that inevitability. Would you put it down all to your captaincy and your 78 field changes?
Is it only 78?
We were keeping count of every single field change.
Yeah.
There were 78 field changes in 19 and a bit overs.
Fantastic. The guys have been working hard. We started last winter with a high performance program where we've been training a lot, and the guys are putting extra effort in the field. We've had quite a few comments about how the guys have really picked up from the last few years, really getting in. So I'd say, the energy and enthusiasm is there, and I like to keep them on their toes as well with the field changes.
Well, you certainly led by example, Chris. Well, I'll let you get back to your team as Czech Republic A have won by 10 wickets. I suspect Chris Pearce might well be in the running for man of the match, just for his captaincy alone. Inspirational captaincy there. Hanigori finishes it off. And that was a very promising, burgeoning partnership with Sabawoon. How would you rate this performance from Czech Republic A, Moshi?
Well, before the second innings starting, they knew that they have to finish it off. But I think that the partnership that they started, something for future games in the Pepsi Cup, that it's very positive, scoring in 86, still in the power play. So we haven't really seen that here yet, except maybe Winterthur when they scored 260. But we've had 40s and that here, so yeah, definitely positive.
Good. So now I want you to wrap up the game, saying thank you for joining us for Czech Republic A versus Canadian Hawks. Czech Republic A won by 10 wickets. Join us again
3
at 3 o'clock Czech time. That's very important. For Sledgehammer versus
Central
versus
European.
Canada.
Yeah.
For Sledgehammer versus Canada.
Central European.
What? Sledgehammer versus Mad Dogs.
Central European.
Sledgehammer versus Mad Dogs. Okay.
Well, thank you for watching this game between Czech Republic A and Canadian Hawks. Czech Republic A won by 10 wickets. Join us again at 3 o'clock Central European time for Sledgehammers against Mad Dogs. See you then.
And click end stream as well.